Hey guys, and welcome to week 9 of the P4G Next Generation. This week we're facing off against Ultra Player and his new York Metagross. Ultra Player is actually a really good battler, so I'm pretty scared of this match, but also because he's got a really good team. So first off is Tornado's T. That thing is just a really good regenerator, man. It hits very hard, gets Hurricane, Air Slash, U-Turn, also coverage and Superpower and Heat Wave. It also gets Defog now in Ultra Sun and Moon, so there's that. So yeah, that thing is a definite bring, because I don't really have a good switch in against this thing. My best switch in is probably Empoleon, but that thing gets hit hard by Superpower, and aside from being offensive, Tornadoes can also run a more defensive set for Lopunny, so that is also an option. So yeah, that thing is pretty scary and it's definitely coming. Next is Hydreigon. I'm actually pretty scared of this thing as well, because it can run a number of different sets, Scarfed, Life Orb, Specs, or maybe just a bulky defensive set, that's also an option. But yeah, this mon is just a monster. It can hit really hard with Draco Meteor, Dark Pulse, or Fire Blast, Focus Blast. It's also another U-Turner and Defogger. So yeah, Hydreigon is definitely a mon I could see coming as well, because I have Latios, so he might want to run a Scarf set to outspeed Latios and just try to kill it from there. So up next is Linoone. That thing is actually a really good Pokemon. It gets Belly Drum, but it also has the Gluttony ability, so if you give it a Super Citrus Berry like the Figgy Berry or Ayapapa or any such berry, it just gets healed up to 100% after a Belly Drum, so that is pretty crazy. And after that it can just go for an extreme speed and just KO your entire team. So yeah, that is pretty scary. I'm pretty scared of Linoone actually, because it has a decent matchup against my team, I mean. I don't really have a good mon to handle it. My only normal type resists are, what's it called? Poseidon and, Bisharp. And those get hit by Linoone's new move, Stomping Tantrum, and my Ghost immunities, Chandelure and, I keep forgetting my mon's names, Gourgeist. Those get hit hard by Shadow Claw, and Linoone also outspeeds them, so yeah, Linoone is actually pretty scary for my team. Yeah, I'm really hoping he doesn't bring it, but if he does, that is a problem. Up next is Alomomola, something like that. That thing is just really bulky and annoying. It gets Wish, so it can just pass Wishes or just heal itself up with Wish Protect. It is another regenerator mon, so that makes it even more difficult to take this thing down. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he's gonna bring Alomomola, because a defensive Alomomola doesn't take a lot from Mega Lopunny's moves. Another bulky mon he has is Registeel. I'm pretty sure he's gonna bring that thing because it just takes nothing from Latios' moves. So yeah, I'm more predicting a more specially defensive set, as I said, to take moves from Latios. It is another Stealth Rocker he has, so that's also an option. And I think it also gets Seismic Toss, Iron Head, Earthquake, so a lot of different moves. Next is Alolan Golem. That thing is actually a pretty cool mon. It has the Galvanize ability, which basically turns normal type moves into electric type moves, so it's kinda similar to Pixelate and Aerialate and those abilities. But aside from Galvanize, it also has the Magnet Pull ability, so that's actually a possibility to trap Empoleon. But even then, I doubt he's gonna bring it, because Empoleon can just kill that thing with Scald or any water type move, so I don't think he's gonna bring Alolan Golem, but it is a possibility. Now we get to his ultra pick, and that is Tapu Lele. That thing is a definite bring, because it's just a monster. It's just such a good mon. It can run a number of different sets, Scarf, Specs, or maybe Calm Mind. So yeah, that is a definite bring, as I said. Scarf is pretty scary because it handles pretty much all of my offensive mons. It outspeeds all of them. So you might want to run that to outspeed Mega Lopunny and Latios. Yeah, I don't really have a good switch-in for this thing either. My best switch-in is Empoleon, but he can just run T-Bolt or Focus Blast for Empoleon. So yeah, I don't really have a good thing to handle Tapu Lele. Of course, Priority doesn't work against it because of Psychic Terrain, so yeah, such a monster, really scared of it. Another mon I'm really scared of is Darmanitan. So yeah, that thing is a monster. It destroys everything it touches basically. That thing is a definite bring. I said it in the past, but I don't really have a good Fire-type switch-in on my team. So yeah, Darmanitan can just pretty much run wild against my team. My only switch to a Flare Blitz, Life Orb Flare Blitz, or maybe just a Scarf Flare Blitz is my Chandelure, but I'm not bringing Chandelure this week, so that might be a mistake, but yeah, we'll see. I really hope Darmanitan just won't destroy me, really. Next up is Farisian. Farisian is a really good mon. SD close combat hits really hard against my entire team basically. But Farisian can also be run as a special attacker, so it's pretty versatile in that front. He might bring it. I do have Latios though, which resists both of its stab moves, and Farisian pretty much gets KO'd by Psyshocks, but it is a possibility. Up next is Mudsdale, and that thing is a really cool mon because it's got the stamina ability which gives it a defense boost once it gets hit by an attack, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, you might want to bring that thing to have a switch in against Megalopony, since stamina kinda helps against that, and he can just CC my Megalopony or go for any other move. So yeah, if he's gonna bring Mudsdale, I'm predicting a more defensive set for Megalopony. He could also run an offensive set because I don't really have a good switch in against that thing then. Well, maybe Gliscor, but I'm not bringing Gliscor this week. I think it's actually the first time this season that I'm not bringing Gliscor, so it might work against me, but we'll see. What more to say about Mudsdale? It's another stealth rocker, so that's nice for him, I guess. But now we get to his last mon, and that is Frostlass. That is a really cool mon, literally. But it's because it gets spikes, so it can hazard stack me. It also gets Destiny Bond, so in combination with Focus Sash, I'm trying to say, that could be really scary. But I'm not sure if he's gonna bring it, because Empoleon kinda walls it. He might bring it because it's P-ties with Latios, and can just hit Latios hard with Ice Beam or Shadow Ball. But yeah, we'll see. As for his Z Crystal, he has the Phytinium Z. So that is actually a really good Z Crystal for him, because it can be run on a lot of mons. Tornadus, Hydreigon, especially Tapu Lele. It's really scary because Lele can then just go for a Z Focus Blast and just destroy my Empoleon pretty much. So yeah, that is really scary. Can also be run on Darmanitan, and of course Farisian, so SD Farisian with Z Close Combat is really scary as well. And last but not least, it can also be run on Mudsdale, so yeah. So yeah, that's it for his team. As I said, a lot of threats. Mons I think he's gonna bring though are, well, definitely the Tornadus T, Hydreigon. Registeel is I'm pretty sure it's gonna come as well because it handles Latios. But Tapu Lele is a mon he's definitely gonna bring, as well as Darmanitan. And of course last mon, I could see either Linoon, Alomomola or Mudsdale, one of those three. I'm leaning more towards Alomomola, but Mudsdale and Linoon are also possibilities. But yeah, that's it for his team, so yeah, let's cover my team right now. So first one I'm gonna bring is Megalopony, because he doesn't really have good switch-ins to this thing. Well, Mudsdale maybe and Alomomola, but aside from those two, nothing really. He only has two normal resists in Golem and Registeel, but those get hit hard by fighting type moves. So yeah, once his team, especially the Mudsdale or the Alomomola, are weakened, Megalopony can really put in work against his team with Return. We're bringing Low Kick instead of High Jump Kick again this week, because of potential Protect on Registeel, and Low Kick hits that thing hard with 120 base power. And Low Kick pretty much hits everything that's weak to it with 120 base power, so yeah, High Jump Kick wasn't really necessary. We're also bringing Toxic for the Alomomola and the Mudsdale, try to wear those down. And Fake Out is there because it's nice priority, and it helps against Linoon if that thing is set up, or just possible Scarf users. As for EVs, I'm bringing enough speed, 148 in speed, with a Jolly nature, because that way we outspeed Tornadus T by 1 point. And the remainder is just put in attack, max attack, and 108 in HP, just to increase our bulk somewhat. Up next is Buck the Shuckle. We're bringing this thing for the first time this season, and because I really felt like webs would be really helpful in this match, and because he's got a really fast team. And if he has Scarf users, then slowing them down with webs will be really nice. Yeah, our moves are pretty standard: webs, rocks, Toxic and Encore. We bring the Mental Herb because I could see him lead with Tornadus, try to taunt my Shuckle, and with a Mental Herb we don't get taunted and get up our hazard, so that is really nice. As for EVs, just max HP. This defense investment allows us to not get 2-hit KO'd by a +6 Stomping Tantrum from Linoon, so that might be really nice. And the remainder is just put in Spadef because I want to take moves from Hydreigon, Lele and Tornadus, better. So yeah, that's it for Shuckle. Really hope it will help us in this match since it's the first time we're bringing it. Next up is Aromatisse. I really needed to bring this thing because otherwise I wouldn't have a switch into Hydreigon and otherwise that thing could destroy us. So it's a pretty standard Aromatisse set, but we're bringing a Spadef Aromatisse this week instead of the more defensive set. Because I want to take moves from Hydreigon better and also Tornadus, pretty much his main especially offensive months. I also felt like defense investment wasn't really necessary because Flare Blitz from Darmanitan pretty much always 2-hit KOs us, as well as Heavy Slam from Mudsdale. So yeah, Spadef would be more useful, I felt like. Max HP, Max Spadef with a Calm Nature. Our moves are also pretty standard, just a regular Cleric moveset. So yeah, there isn't really much to say about Aromatisse. Yeah, next up is Circuitry, bringing T-Bolt, Dazzling Gleam, Grass Knot and Hypnosis. So Z Hypnosis again this week. With his Sticky Webs up, Circuitry can really put in work against his team. Z Hypnosis is there because the speed boost will be really helpful against levitating mons who aren't affected by the Sticky Web like Tornadus and Hydreigon. So yeah, these moves pretty much cover everything. T-Bolt hits everything except for the Phyrexian, the Hydreigon and the Golem and the Mudsdale. But Dazzling Gleam hits Phyrexian and especially Hydreigon really hard, and Grass Knot pretty much always OHKOs the Mudsdale unless that thing is AV or especially defensive. But yeah, Circuitry can really put in work once his team is weakened. Our EVs basically allow us to, well, with this speed we outspeed max speed Tornadus at +1, so that is pretty nice. Max attack with a Modest Nature, hit as hard as possible and 16 HP. So yeah, my plan with Circuitry is really to weaken his team, especially the Registeel. Because especially defensive Registeel doesn't really take a lot from T-Bolt, so once that thing is weakened and we are able to kill it with T-Bolt, we might be able to get a sweep with Circuitry, which is what I'm really hoping for. Next up is Latios. We're bringing Scarf Latios this week, and because I really want to try and trick the Scarf to Registeel and render this thing useless, because Registeel is basically... well, if Latios is in, I'm pretty certain he's gonna switch into Registeel to take my move, so if we can trick a Choice Scarf to that thing, that will be really nice. So yeah, we bring Draco Meteor, hits the Hydreigon and pretty much everything else except the Lele and the Registeel of course. Psyshock hits the Phyrexian and Shadow Ball hits the Lele. As for EVs, it's pretty standard as well. Timid, max speed, because that way we speed high with Frostlass without our Choice Scarf, and max attack for in defense. So yeah, that's it for Latios. Our last mon is the Empoleon. We bring Assault Vest Empoleon this week because we want to take moves from Lele the best we can. Empoleon was also pretty necessary because it was my best thing for Lele. Even though it gets hit hard by T-Bolt and Focus Blast or even a Z Focus Blast, Assault Vest allows us to lift that. Scald is there to hit pretty much everything and try to burn them, which can be really nice. Flash Cannon hits the Lele. Ice Beam hits the Hydreigon and the Tornadus, and we're also bringing Knockoff because if we are able to knock off the leftovers from Registeel or well, knock off an item from Alomomola or just items in general really, that can be really crucial. So yeah, Knockoff can be really nice. As for EVs, we're bringing max HP. 52 in defense allows us to not get 2-hit KO'd by Specs, Psyshock from Tapu Lele. So that is pretty nice, and the remainder is just put in Spadef to take moves from well, his especially offensive mons better. But yeah, that's it for the team, not much else to say about it. So yeah, I'm really hoping we will grab a W this week, and yeah, let's get right to the match. Okay, so here I am with the battle. As you guys can see, he brought the Tapu Lele, the Darmanitan, the Registeel, the Tornadus T, the Hydreigon and the Mudsdale. So no Alomomola, instead he brings the Mudsdale, so that is alright. He also didn't bring the Linoon either, so that was something I was pretty happy about because facing that thing would just be really scary. But yeah, other than that, pretty much everything I expected, nothing too surprising. So choosing my lead, I decided to lead Shuckle because I really wanted to get up my hazards as soon as possible. Sticky Web will really help in slowing down the potential Scarf, Tapu Lele or Darmanitan, and Rocks will really help wearing those two down, especially the Darmanitan. And also the Tornadus T, since that thing has the Regenerator ability. So if that thing just takes 25% up on entry each time, that will really help in wearing that thing down. So yeah, I decided to do that because if he leads for example Tornadus and decides to taunt me, I do have the Mental Herb, so I am just able to get up a layer of hazards or well, Rocks or Stealth Rock up against that thing. But instead he decides to lead off with the Tapu Lele. So that isn't really too big of a problem. I decided to set up my rocks right here as I felt like it would be more useful than Web, since he does have 2 levitating mons and 2 relatively slow mons. He decides to fire off the Psyshock on my Shuckle, and as you guys can see, it does a chunk. Not too much though, so that does confirm this thing isn't Specs, but I still don't know if this thing is Scarf or Z-Move. I am able to get up my rocks, which is nice. Here though I switch out because I kind of want to keep my Shuckle healthy, because I might need to get up my hazards if he managed to defog them away. So I send in my Empoleon as he goes for another Psyshock, and it does a decent amount. He switches out right here, so that kinda makes me think this thing is Scarfed indeed, because otherwise he probably would have went for Thunderbolt or Focus Blast or whatever. I'm not entirely sure though, but it is a possibility. I just fired off the Flash Cannon right here, as it would be able to, well, do a lot to this Tapu Lele, but he switches out into the Hydreigon right here. Takes a solid amount though, so this thing is most likely offensive, I feel like. I switch into my designated switch into this thing, and that is my Aromatisse, as he goes for the defog actually. So he is able to defog my rocks away, which kinda sucks. But my Aromatisse is in right now, and he is pretty much forced to switch out. But he could also fire off a Flash Cannon, so that is why I go for the Wish this turn, but he switched out right here. He hard switches though, doesn't go for the U-turn, so this makes me think he doesn't have U-turn, well, obviously, but he might actually be locked into defog, which is something to keep in mind. I went for the Wish right here as he goes into the Registeel as expected. Now I have a pretty solid switch into my Play Grill, as I am able to get wished up if he decides to Iron Head me or Seismic Toss, but instead he goes for the Toxic. That was probably worst case scenario, because my Lopunny is now on a timer and, well, the Wish is pretty much nullified or rendered useless, I mean. So yeah, getting Lopunny Toxic kinda hurts. It isn't too big of a problem though. But now I am able to force his Registeel out, because I can just go for a Fighting type move. I go for the Low Kick right here because it would do a lot to this Registeel, and Registeel isn't able to OHKO me unless his thing is like Max Attack Superpower or something, but he decided to switch into his Mudsdale. So that is most likely his physical defensive wall to handle my Lopunny. And it indeed is, because it takes absolutely nothing for my Low Kick and it gets a stamina boost, so yeah, it is now able to live any of my moves. So I have to switch out right here because this thing can just go for an EQ or a close combat to knock me out. So I switch into my Latios right here, really hoping he goes for the close combat or the Earthquake. So yeah, Latios comes in, I mean, but as you guys can see, he goes for the Heavy Slam instead. And it does a solid chunk to my Latios, so that kinda sucked. I probably should have went into something else, but I didn't really have a good switch in for this thing in the first place. I fire off a Trick right here because I was really hoping, or well, expecting him to go into the Registeel, and so I would be able to trick my Choice Scarf to his, but unfortunately he goes into the Tapu Lele, I mean, and I am able to trick it, my Choice Scarf to it, but he also has the Choice Scarf, so pretty much nothing happened other than him getting his Tapu Lele in safely. So I have to switch out right here because I'm locked into the Trick, I'm pretty sure. And I just go into my Empoleon, but he very nicely predicts that and goes for the T-Bolt. Since I'm Assault Vest, I take that decently well, but it still does a solid amount to me. So now here I predict a switch, and he does indeed switch into the Registeel. So instead of going for Flash Cannon, I went for the knockoff right here. So I am able, to knock off this thing's leftovers, which is a huge help because leftovers can be kinda annoying on this thing. I'm predicting the Earthquake right here, so I switch out into my Shuckle because I want to get up my hazards again, and I can do that pretty freely against this thing. He does go for the EQ indeed. So yeah, that doesn't do a lot since I have a lot of physical defense, and Shuckle is just pretty bulky in general. So I am able to get up my hazards right here. I decided to set up my Sticky Web instead, this time instead of the rocks, because well, he was pretty much confirmed Scarf on his Lele, so webs would really help a lot. He does get in his Darmanitan though for free, and now I'm really hoping I will be able to live a Flare Blitz from this thing. I have to stay in because I haven't got a switch in for this thing, which really sucks. So he goes for the Flare Blitz on my Shuckle, and that is able to knock out Shuckle, so unfortunately I can't get up my rocks. So yeah, and I lose my Shuckle. So yeah, this isn't really too good, but I am able to get in my Latios right here because I will be able to outspeed this thing since I'm Scarf and just fire off his Psyshock. He actually stays in, which wasn't really something I expected. He is able to live my Psyshock, so I probably should have went for Draco, I mean, and he's just gonna go for the Flare Blitz right here. But somehow I am able to live on 2, which was really surprising. I think he got a min roll. So here I actually have to make a play because I'm really far behind in this match. So I make a double right here into my Mega Lopunny, really expecting him to switch into his Hydreigon on my Psyshock to get rid of my hazards or my sticky webs, and I really can't allow that. And I do get this play right, which is really huge. He gets in the Hydreigon as I am into my Lopunny, so unless this thing is Scarf, he is able to, or isn't able to get rid of my webs. He switches out though because he pretty much had to. I go for the return because return would have been able to knock the Hydreigon out from this range. He goes into Tornadus and he reveals the Chalan Berry, so that was pretty cool prep. According to my calcs though, a second return isn't able to knock this thing out. Or well, it is a roll and I don't want to risk this roll because Lopunny is pretty important in this match. So I decided to just sack off my Empoleon since it's kinda low. It can't really switch into any of Tapu Lele's moves anymore. He predicts that, or well, it was a pretty safe play. Goes for the superpower to knock me out. But now though he is at minus defense, so that guarantees the KO on the with the Lopunny, I mean. So I go back into Lopunny, I will be able to outspeed this thing and just knock it out with a return. So yeah, I press return, he stays in this turn. So Lopunny is able to grab a kill against Tornadus, which is really big because Tornadus was a pretty big threat to the team. I didn't really have a good switch into this thing, so getting rid of this thing is pretty huge. But now he is able to get in his Richter, what it's called, the Mudsdale. And yeah, I have to switch out because well, I can't touch this thing really. So yeah, I'm switching out right here into my Latios because Latios is really low, so I'm kind of sacking it off right here. But he actually sets up his rocks right here, so that was a pretty good switch for me because Latios is in before the rocks. So I can just fire off an attack right now. I just fired off the Draco because yeah, there was really no point in going for another move. He stays in actually. So Draco is able to Oko, well not Oko Burn, but knock this thing out. So getting rid of the Mudsdale is really big because that was pretty much his best, well, his only switch into my Mega Lopunny. So now that thing is gone. I am locked into the Draco though, so I have to stay in because I can't allow any of my other mons to get weakened by the Tapu Lele. So yeah, that thing is in. I have to go for Draco as I said since I'm scarfed. I do outspeed this thing though, but of course it doesn't work, and he knocks me out right here with the Psyshock. Yeah, with the Psyshock. So Latios goes down. But that isn't too bad because now I have a free switch into any of my other mons. But here I kinda misplay though. I go into Lopunny because for some reason I thought I would be able to Oko this thing with return. So yeah, I will be able to outspeed it though because of the sticky web. But I go for the return right here and obviously it isn't able to Oko this thing. And he just knocks me out with a Psyshock. So that is a pretty big misplay because Lopunny was really important in this match, as it was pretty much my only way to well, break through the Registeel, and now I pretty much can't. Because I only have my Aromatisse left and my Circuitry, I believe. So Aromatisse comes in right here. I should have went into Aromatisse first to do some chip damage on this Lele, allowing Lopunny to knock it out with a return. So yeah, I now really struggle against this Registeel because I really can't break through it anymore. So my only hope is for Aromatisse to chip down on this Registeel. Luckily the leftovers are gone though, so that kinda helps. But yeah, as I said, my only way to kinda win this match really is to chip down this Registeel, put it into range for Circuitry Thunderbolt. Unfortunately I don't have Tail Glow on Circuitry, so I can't really do a lot to this thing. Because I'm expecting this thing to be max HP, max Pedef to handle Latios better. He goes for the Toxic right here, so I pretty much have to go for the Heal Bell because I can't really allow Aromatisse to get well weakened by the Toxic. So yeah, I have to go for Moonblast after the Heal Bell and really hope Circuitry will be able to put in work. Circuitry is my only remaining win con really. So my plan is to put this thing into range for 2 Thunderbolts of Circuitry because Circuitry will be able to live an EQ from this Registeel unless that thing has a lot of attack investment, but I really doubt that. So yeah, I have to go for the Z Hypnosis on this thing and just hope for max sleep turns and well, hope Circuitry can sweep the remainder of his team. So yeah, I go for the Moonblast. That is my plan. I'm not going for the Wish though on this Registeel because I want to get Circuitry in on this Registeel, as Registeel is the only mon I will be able to get safely get up a Z Hypnosis because he can't KO me, and of course I have to rely on Hypnosis landing, and all of his other mons will be able to kill me with their attacks. So yeah, I'm not going for Wish, just going for the Moonblast to get off as much damage as possible on this Registeel. So in comes the Moonblast. He is now at like 60% or so. He goes for the Earthquake right here. It was pretty much his best play, I think. Because I could make a switch into Circuitry, but of course I wouldn't do that. So yeah, Aromatisse is getting kind of low slowly. But he catches on to my plan, unfortunately for me, as I go for a Moonblast. And he decides to sack off his Darmanitan right here. So that is kind of bad, because I really needed Aromatisse to die against the Registeel for me to win this game. And he caught on to my plan, and yeah, that kind of sucks now, because I am able to knock this Darmanitan out though. But now he is able to get in his Hydreigon against Aromatisse and defog away my webs. And now without the webs, Xurkitree won't be able to outspeed Lele at +1, because Lele is carved. So yeah, that isn't good. That isn't good at all. He goes for the defog as expected, as I fire off a Moonblast to knock this thing out. So while I am able to get rid of the Hydreigon, he is able to get in his Lele afterwards. And well, things aren't really looking good for me. As I said, Moonblast is coming off, Hydreigon dies, but Lele just comes in and kills me with Psyshock. Yeah, my last mon will be Xurkitree, which will have a hard time against Lele. So yeah, I do gain some leftovers recovery, but he is able to get in his Lele right here. And just fire off a Psyshock. I go for the Protect actually this turn, I think, because after the leftovers recovery, after the Protect, if he gets a low roll, I will be able to lift the Psyshocks, which was something I was hoping for. So I go for the Protect, as I said. He goes for the Psyshock, locking himself into that move. But I don't have a switch in at all. My last remaining mon is Xurkitree, which is really frail. So yeah, I'm hoping he will get a min roll with the Psyshock. He fires off the Psyshock. But yeah, with the Psychic Terrain, as you guys can see, it is able to knock out the Aromatisse. So if I had some more defense investment, I would have been able to live, but unfortunately I was max pedef. So in goes my Xurkitree. According to my calcs, I will be able to live one Psyshock, which is good, unless he crits me, of course. And as you guys can see, he doesn't crit me, and I kill this thing with Thunderbolt. I pretty much had to go for the T-Bolt, because as I said, the sticky webs are gone, and at +1 I wouldn't be able to outspeed Lele, and I could have kind of relied on Hypnosis, but if that thing missed, I would have been screwed really. And speaking of Hypnosis, I mean, I have to go for it now, because it is my only way to win this match. I really have to hope I land Hypnosis and I get the 2 sleep turns. If I don't get it, he just kills me with the Registeel. He actually goes for the Protect right here, as I go for the Z Hypnosis, so I do get the speed boost, but of course he is protected. So that isn't bad, I just have to land the second Hypnosis. So let's see what happens. I go for the Hypnosis, and as you guys can see, I do land the move, so things aren't over yet for me. Luckily for me, I am at +1, but this thing is most likely max pedef, so he will be able to live one T-Bolt, so I really have to hope for the second sleep turn. And if I do get it, then I will win the match, but if I don't get it, I lose. So yeah, there it goes. Let's see what happened. I go for the T-Bolt, and as you guys can see, I am able to knock out the Registeel. Apparently it wasn't max pedef, but I did get a max roll, I learned after the match. So yeah, we managed to get a narrow 1-0 victory against Ultra Player. In my opinion, this was a very good match. It came down to the wire. My opponent did get some unfortunate rolls though. The low roll on the Latios with the Darmanitan, and of course the high roll T-Bolt on the Registeel there at the end. If I didn't get the high roll, he would have been able to live my attack, but then it would have come down to him waking up or not. But yeah, a really close game, so yeah, GG to Ultra Player. Be sure to check out his side of the match on his channel. So we're now 7-2, which is pretty nice, I think. I'm not sure if we're guaranteed for playoffs though. We might be, I have no idea, I can't say for certain. But yeah, next week we're facing Jacob and the Green Bay Pikachus, I'm pretty sure. And Jacob is actually at the second spot on this league. He has only 1 loss so far, and he's a really good batter, so yeah, I'm pretty scared of that match. But yeah, anyway, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!